Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
And hello there, all you stay tuners. It might be the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go.
Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, and I'm not alone this week. We have our good buddy King back.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
How you doing, bud?
Still here.
So I told everybody that the reason why you weren't here last week was you were still suffering from the Giants-Cowboys Thanksgiving game.
I'm just suffering from the Giants. I was just talking with my father a little earlier about this. The Giants, in the last 5 games are 1-3-1.
Okay, yeah.
So not great, not a great record, and here we are. It's fucking Eagles week.
Yeah, it's officially King James week.
And, we'll see. You know, that's what I'll just put on that one. Like, it was looking like, I don't know. Oh, maybe we got. You know, I'm gonna spend a good chunk of this week convincing myself. We got a shot. Yeah, sure.
But see, can do it. You guys do only if one thing happens.
No. There's a lot of fucking things that do that.
If you could get Barkley and that running game going and pull a Commanders, you guys are right there.
Yeah, except that the Eagles kind of shored that up there. Because, if you saw what they did with the Titans, Derrick Henry got jack and shit done.
Yeah, but they kept running him up the middle, and that's the problem. We're very big in the middle there. If we could get outside with Barkley,
no, because that's where Barkley does his work, is that he breaks it in through the middle.
Oh, okay.
We can use Burrito outside on the edge, and maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe that's the switch up,
Yeah.
If everybody's focusing on Saquon on the inside, we get Burrito to the outside. That could be something. But it's going to take that where there's some kind of sustained running game, where the passing game, for the love of God, where some of these players can maybe catch a fucking pass. That would be great.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones using his legs and stretching the field, making things happen, gaining yardage, getting first downs. And on the defensive side of the ball, if we can get McKinney back this week, I have no idea if he's coming back this week or not. I don't know what the latest on the injury report is for that, but if our secondary can do something, if we can, as my father said, I don't know right now who the Giants' best cornerback would be, or who in our secondary would be best. I have no idea. But the plan, I think, and it's actually a pretty decent plan, is whoever we consider to be our best defensive back.
Yeah.
Let's say McKinney does come back. Okay, fine. Let's say it's him. Put him on the Eagles' number 2 receiver.
Okay.
and double AJ all game. Get two people on him like white on rice, and do that. And our defensive front can get pressure.
Yeah.
The Giants' defensive line is good. If listen, Jalen Hurts is going to use his leg. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to make plays with his legs. You have to accept that part of it.
Yeah.
But if you can get to him enough, if you can get a sack or two, get a couple hits on him, get him to make a bad decision or two, that all of that helps. And of course, Wink loves blitzing, so that's a chance. You know what I mean? Like, all these things have to happen in concert. The defensive game plan has to go off flawlessly. Has to be done. The offense can't sputter, can't do turnovers, can't go 3 and outs a bunch of times. And if we get down in the red zone, we have to score touchdowns. 6, not 3. You have to get 6. You can't settle for 3, not against the Eagles. If those things happen, the Giants have a chance.
Well,
they have a chance.
I mean, I'll say this. The one thing I've noticed, I started to notice this past weekend, but then I remember the past 2 weeks, Hurts is starting to get banged up.
Everybody's getting banged up this time of year, though.
You know, him running around, it's mostly when he was running around, like, one more good hit and he's out. And I don't want this to sound bad, but we're stuck with Gardner Minshew, who did not look good in cleanup time this past weekend. So, you guys, not saying do the Buddy Ryan rule that I always yell for, but one hit he's done, and I think the playing field's level.
Your idea. Well, the way the Giants can win is if they knock the fucking quarterback out. Like, that's that's a chance for anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, if you knock their starting quarterback out, they may not play as well. Well, no fucking shit. Like, that's you can't depend on that as a game plan. That's not a game plan.
Well, no,
game
I know.
plan is not knock him the fuck out of the game, because you never know. Like, that's not something you can bank on. You're not banking on that. You have to perform. You have to execute your own game plan. You have to execute on what you're good at. So that's what the Giants need to do.
But I do.
If that happens or not, but the Giants have put themselves in a bad situation. The Giants have put themselves in a situation where they have to beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because they've lost twice to the Cowboys and they've tied now to Washington.
Yeah.
Now that means that we are 0-2-1 so far in the division. We have to win some fucking division games.
Well, yeah.
And we only have 3 left. We have the Eagles twice, and we have 1 more with Washington next week. That's it.
Yeah. And
our schedule's fucking tough. We got the Eagles. We got Washington. We've got Minnesota. Then we have the Colts, which is a little bit of a reprieve. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe they'll pull out some Saturday magic against us and fuck us over. And then we got to close the season out against Philly in Philly, which, the way things are going, could be for a fucking playoff spot by this time, which I was hoping the Giants would have locked up before then. But now the case is, like, we may not even make it. Because the case is, if we lose to the Eagles, if we lose to Washington, if we lose to Minnesota, we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be fighting for that last playoff spot with fucking Detroit.
Yeah, how about
Detroit has the win over us? So
I was going to say, how about them? I mean, the past 5-6 weeks coming on strong.
They're the opposite of what the Giants have been. In the last 6 weeks, I think they're 5-1.
Yeah.
And the only loss they have is to Buffalo, which
was a game and a half.
They have the fucking on Thanksgiving. They gave they punted on 4th and an inch. When Motor City Dan Campbell usually goes for it on 4th and 6 deep in his own end for some goddamn reason. So, and even he said that was a mistake on his part and that he wished he had gone for it.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the game right there. And then you talk about Detroit is 6-0 the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That team started 1-6. And they are now 5-7.
Yeah,
so yeah,
pretty close.
In the last 5 weeks they're 4-1.
Yeah,
I gave them one extra win that they didn't have, but 4-1 in the last 5 weeks. Because that was their thing. Their offense was always good.
Yeah,
it was their defense that was absolute trash. But they seem to have found their defense, and I guess better late than never. But Detroit is by far nowhere dead. And right now, who wants to play the Detroit Lions? Nobody.
Yeah.
They are a problem. The Lions are a problem right now. So that's something that now, as a Giants fan, you have to worry about as well. Now we are in the absolute hell of our schedule, and instead, like, we lost to the Lions, we needed to win that game. We lost to the Seahawks, we needed to win that game. We needed to get at least one win from the Cowboys. We didn't get one of those. We needed to at least beat Washington. We get a tie, which does us no good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on all these things that the Giants needed to kind of secure that good start that we had has not happened. Nothing has happened right. So now we're in a bad situation where we have to beat the Eagles. And that's a tall fucking order to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they put the same type of performance up as last week, which I found funny that the day after, today's Wednesday, yesterday, I think it was, the Tennessee GM got fired.
Yeah, listen, there might be a lot there that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about the eyeball test and you ask everybody what it looks like, well, when Mike Vrabel says, as long as I'm coach here, A.J. Brown will never be traded from here.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, they fucking trade him. There seems to have been some friction between Mr. Vrabel and John Robinson there. And then especially when AJ just when he has that type of game, and you were the one who traded him and said, well, because the guy we're drafting, he's going to be just like him. He's built the same way. That'll be fine. You know my feeling about the draft and draft capital and all that kind of stuff. It's a lottery. It's a scratch-off ticket. You're taking a chance no matter what. He thought who he was. He thought, let me get rid of him and get somebody else who couldn't be just like him, and we don't have to pay him what A.J. Brown is going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
So you trade him and do it. Look at me. I'm a super smart guy. I got all this shit. Well, not that fucking smart, are you? You smarted yourself right out of a fucking job.
And that's the next question I want to ask you. So right now, Tennessee, I believe, is 7-5.
Okay.
If AJ Brown was still on that team, how many more wins would they have? I mean, you look at the season he's having, and you can't dismiss the possibility that they probably would have won two more games because of him.
I'd have to look at like how some of the games went, how their past schedule looked. But just off of my head, I'd say he's at least worth at minimum 2 games.
Yeah,
I think that's at least so you're talking 9 wins, so you'd be 9-3.
And I think that if they did have that 9-3 record, they would be first in the division, because that division's.
Well, they're first in the division now anyway. That division sucks.
I was thinking they were 1 game behind.
Who?
I was thinking Tennessee was 1 game behind.
Who?
In that division.
1 game behind who?
Well, whoever's leading the game now, or the division now.
Who's leading the AFC South? Who's in the AFC South?
Tennessee, Houston, Indy?
Right. And?
See, that's the division I never really care about. See. Who the hell am I missing?
Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
Which one of those teams is above fucking Tennessee?
All right. I was just thinking out loud, which most of the time gets me in trouble.
Yes, it does. Very much so, especially when you say stuff like that. Oh, come on, Jimbo. Pay attention.
But
no, they're Tennessee's going to win that division by default because everybody else in there sucks. So that doesn't matter. But they traded away A.J. Brown when they didn't need to.
Yeah.
And when the owner fires you, that's probably because the GM went to her, Amy Adams Strunk, I believe is her name, the owner of the Tennessee Titans, went to her and probably was like, listen, I got this idea. It's going to save you a lot of money. Trust me. We trade him, get somebody just like him. We pay him the rookie contract. We get no drop-off in production. It's going to be great, man. I'm telling you. And she's like, yeah, okay, fine. Save me money. Sounds good. but don't let it fail. It's not going to fail. I never fail. I'm the best GM. I'm the one who got A.J. Brown in the second round. I'm a smart GM. I'm the best GM in the league. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Well, probably went to her office and she was like, oh, yeah, about that. A.J. Brown just fucking raped us. And where's our guy? What are we doing? Huh? What are we doing? Yeah, no, you're fired. Get out. Vrabel there probably smoking a cigarette in his office as he packs.
Yeah, as he's walking by his door.
Hey, man, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, all right? I don't want aspirates on my door.
Now, I'm curious to see, though, like right now, Vrabel still doesn't have personnel power yet, but they did. I did read that they said he will have more of a voice. But I'm curious if in the offseason, if they do something with him to give him a little bit more power, maybe a pay bump. You know,
I don't know. It depends on if that's something that he asks for.
Yeah,
is he going to try to become Belichick and have his own fiefdom down there, or is he just going to have a voice in who the GM is? Because I think that was the thing that down there is that you had Vrabel and you had John Robinson, but there was no communication.
Well,
there was no, like they butted heads a lot. There was no again, communication, no matter what relationship, whether it's a professional relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, no matter what it is, any kind of relationship that you're in, if there's poor communication and the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, there's going to be a problem.
And you saw that draft day during that video when it got announced AJ got traded. Vrabel getting up, walking away all pissed off. You knew he didn't know.
He didn't know. Nobody knew. That's kind of like I think back to Aaron Rodgers when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, and he was on the Pat McAfee draft show that time. I think this is before he was even doing Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. He was on there talking about it, and then they drafted Jordan Love, and he was just like, "Oh, okay," like, and that was it. Like, because nobody told him. There's no communication.
Yeah,
that's why there's always been a problem with Aaron and Green Bay, is because there's no communication between the higher ups and him. There was no communication whatsoever between John Robinson and Vrabel, and that's why Vrabel goes out there and says, "No, they trade AJ Brown. What, are you out of your fucking mind? No, we're never going to do that." And then when they do it, and it's like, okay, well, you just made me look like a fucking jerk off.
Yeah,
in front of the nation, saying, "Oh, we're never going to trade him," and then you fucking trade him. And then on top of that, he goes and he does what he did to the Eagles or does to the Titans what he did last week. As just kind of a little exclamation point on that. You got to figure that John Robinson was watching that game being just like, I'm just going to start packing my shit now. Especially after AJ did that catch off the shoulder pads.
Oh, dude, that was nice.
And once he did that, it was like, all right, let me just go pack my shit. All right, I understand. I screwed up. I'm done. So, I mean,
now to kind of switch it up a little bit, because you brought up about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, the two stories that came out, I think during one was this past weekend and one was last weekend, about Jimmy G and the 49ers being open to getting something worked out, and now Green Bay saying they'd be willing to have Rodgers come back. Which one of the two do you think happens realistically?
Well, Rodgers got a 2-year contract up there in Green Bay.
He's got
he's up
2
there.
years.
Contractually, he's up there until he either retires or they let him go. So, like, if he wants to play somewhere else next year, like, Green Bay's going to have to either waive him or they're going to have to trade him one way or the other. Or he'll just retire. I don't know.
Because I thought that's why he came back, is because they made an agreement with each other that this will be his last season in Green Bay, and
he signed. That's why he signed. I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. I can't remember. But yeah, no, there was never an agreement that this was his last year there. No.
Oh, okay.
No. But they said that, they were going to work things out. They were going to have more communication. They were going to have more input, and so he signed. And then literally the next week, Devontae Adams leaves and goes to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck, and again, if you're Aaron, you're sitting there like, well, they just did it to me again, and fool me 6 times, shame on you. So I think I don't know if he's gonna. If Aaron Rodgers plays another season, I don't know if it'll be in Green Bay, and that's if he plays another season.
Yeah,
he might just straight up retire. That might be what he does. But I think if he does play another season of NFL football, I don't think it'll be in Green Bay.
okay.
That just leaves, then where would it be? Who has the need for basically a 2 or 3 years worth of a quarterback?
Yeah.
That has a team ready for that. It's just like missing that piece. I would normally say Denver, but the problem is that they're sunk
stuck
so much money into fucking Russell Wilson now, and he's turned out to be just absolutely terrible. That they're stuck. They're fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can do that. Plus, Nathaniel Hackett worked with Rodgers in Green Bay. That's why people thought he might have been going to Denver, all this other stuff. But I don't think Hackett's lasting outside of this year anyway, because he's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So you have he's bad, and they're stuck with Wilson. So Denver is what you would think would be a good spot is not. Could it be San Francisco? Now that again, Jimmy G get hurt again.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, listen, we never really got a good shot, but even when he did play, he didn't play well.
Yeah.
So like, I think it just might be time to just cut your losses with Trey Lance. Let somebody, and listen, if he succeeds somewhere else, God bless. But here's a guy who's played, I think, total in his life 17 games in college and everything like that. Like, he hasn't really played a lot of football.
Yeah.
They took a gamble on him with a high draft pick. Sometimes, again, it's the draft. Gambles don't always work out. Don't bet everything on a gamble that doesn't look like it's a good bet. Hedge your bets, get rid of him, and see if you can get Rodgers, because that's a team that's built to win now.
Yeah, if they get Rodgers, that team would be nasty.
And that's what I mean. Like, when you talk about like Brock Purdy, can Brock Purdy be like a Tom Brady figure where he comes out of obscurity and does something? He could. Don't get me wrong. He could. Are the odds in that favor?
No.
Fuck no.
Like they always say, Tom Brady is a generation talent. Like, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
No, Tom Brady's not even a once in a generation talent. Tom Brady is a once in several generations talent. Again, because there's never been a quarterback that has done or is doing the things that he is, even at his age.
Yeah.
And he's not quitting. Like, he's going to play football next year.
Yeah.
Like, so don't get that out of your head that he's going out like this. He's not going out like this.
I don't
He's still
think
going to fucking play.
I don't think he would ever let himself go out like this. Like, I think if he has 5 more seasons like this, I think he'll still come back for a 6th season to make sure.
While he hasn't played great, he's played a lot better since the divorce. So
yeah, I mean, he's got that weight off of him. So
so like that, but. Can that be something that happens with Brock Purdy and San Francisco? Maybe, like I said, but San Francisco is a team that has all the pieces. They have everything there ready to go. They're a Super Bowl contender. Even with Brock Purdy in there, they're still a Super Bowl contender because of the weapons they have, because of all that. But could you imagine the San Francisco 49ers with Christian McCaffrey, with Deebo Samuel, with that defense, with Nick Bosa and everybody like that, and you have fucking Aaron Rodgers with those weapons? Get the fuck out of here. San Francisco would be an absolute Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
So that's something that can happen. But again, I think the relationship between Rodgers and Green Bay is bad. This season shows that. Again, they've never done anything to help build a team around Rodgers. They've just kind of had Rodgers shore up all the deficiencies that they've had. And when you have like back-to-back MVP seasons and you're able to carry a team places, and then you think about again, like the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, where they're on the goal line and it's 4th and 1 and they kick a field goal when they're still down by as much as they were. It's like, I think they were down by 8 or something. It's like, put this is why you have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's why you're paying him the salary.
And you know who made that call? Nathaniel Hackett.
I was going to say, yeah.
So, maybe there was something there that we knew that Nathaniel Hackett, maybe not the best coach in the world, but there it is. So it's going to be an interesting offseason.
Yeah, definitely, because there's also some good free agents that are going to be hitting the wire there. What's it? Usually March, I think, is when free agency starts. You want to talk a little college football?
All right, we can. I mean, listen, what else are we doing here? I'm just shooting the shit. How we do. So, what's college ball?
What's your opinion about the playoff 4?
You got it right. You got it absolutely 1,000% right. The ranking, the teams that are in there and the rankings that they are 100% correct.
I was okay with the teams that were in there. After me and you talked about it the day that they announced who was where and what spots, and I didn't agree with TCU being there. I thought TCU should be 4, but after what you said and everything, I started thinking about. I'm like, what? Even though they're not supposed to, the playoff committee is not supposed to be using if we get Ohio State against Michigan for a championship game, it's going to do buku numbers. You can't help but not think about that.
Here's a couple of things. One, TCU made their championship game. Ohio State didn't. TCU lost very closely in overtime in their championship game. OSU never got there, and in their last game against Michigan, got the fucking doors beat off them. TCU was never dropping below 3. There's nobody else who has a resume that can match what TCU did.
Yeah,
there wasn't. So 1, 2, and 3 were pretty much set. The only way TCU was going to fall from 3 was if Kansas State blew them out, and that didn't happen. So once that didn't happen, it was like, okay, TCU is in, and they're probably in at 3. The only question then became who's 4.
Yeah,
and was it going to be a 1-loss Ohio State that got the brakes beat off them? Was it going to be a 2-loss Alabama that lost 2 games very closely against SEC competition? It just means more. So maybe they were going to find a way to sneak Bama in there. What long shots? Would it be USC still? Would they give a 2-loss team that lost in the championship game a spot there for that not you don't want to get punished in the championship game? However, Utah fucking beat them. And they beat them. So that's it's different from TCU because that's it. TCU lost a close game in overtime, whereas USC was once the third quarter started, it was over.
Yeah,
Utah just took over that game.
And I think around halftime with the TCU game, they were down at like 2 scores, I think it was. But they came back, and they were winning, and Kansas State had to tie it up to bring it into overtime. Yeah,
or was it TCU tied up? I forget.
I think it was TCU.
It got into overtime, but either way, even if they didn't go to overtime, if TCU lost close, they were not losing 3.
Yeah.
So it just became who was going to be 4. And honestly, when you look at everything there, like if you're going to rank teams in these rankings, and then something like this happens, well, then it's the next team up. Like, honestly, I don't understand. Like, if you had Alabama jump Ohio State, then why wasn't Alabama 5th to begin with?
Yeah.
And why were they 6th? Like, if that was going to be the case. So it made the most sense. You bump up Ohio State. They become the 4 seed. They play Georgia. Then you have Michigan versus TCU, and you have it set up, I think, properly. I think the rankings are what they should be. I think the teams that are in there are the teams that should be in there based on everything that's there. That's not Alabama hate. That's not anything like that. That's simply the fact that Ohio State had 1 loss. Alabama's got 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Alabama lost to Tennessee, who is I don't know where they're ranked.
How about that downfall?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that happened there. Tennessee was, again, but that's it. Their big win was Alabama.
Yeah.
But how good is Alabama? That's the question we were asking now. Yeah. And then you also lose Hendon Hooker, so there was no way they were going to get in.
Yeah. But
and that's it. Then they lose two. They start from being number one, and then they lose to who? They lose to LSU, and I forget who else they lost to, but obviously they lost to Penn.
Yeah, wasn't it Auburn?
No, nobody lost to Auburn this year. Auburn sucks.
But I'll admit though, like watching the unveiling of the teams, once I saw TCU at 3, even though I was thinking they'd be 4, I was like, oh please don't fucking put Bama there. A 2-win team, like you said, over a 1-team Ohio State team should not be in the playoffs.
Was that English?
I may have just took a stroke, but you never know.
Yeah, maybe a
2-loss
brother. I love you, but a 2-loss Alabama team
should not
be ahead of the one-loss
Ohio State team. Yeah,
I agree.
So that's why when they said Ohio State was there, I was hungover, so I couldn't really do a jig and dance and be all happy, but I was fist bumping in the air there.
See, where I was talking about not having the Alabama hate, you're all about the Alabama hate.
Well, yeah, because fuck Nick Saban. But you know what?
Well, I mean, listen, the guy would listen. I can't be mad at somebody who wins. He wins. Listen, the reason we're mad at him, the reason nobody likes Nick Saban is because he fucking wins games. And Alabama is a powerhouse now because of him, the success that he brings. That's it. He doesn't even have to really recruit anymore. He can just walk into a place, show all the fucking rings he has, and just be like, if you want to be a champion, you come here. And that's it. Alabama has people that are 3rd and 4th on their fucking depth chart that would be starting anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
That's so there's credit to be due to Alabama and to Nick Saban and to everything that was built there. So, and this is just, it happens to be an off year. They didn't have Bryce Young, not the best year. They didn't have a lot of the same weapons, and sometimes that happens. They'll be back next year. If you think Alabama's not going to be in the fucking top 5 next year, you're fucking out of your mind.
Yeah,
like they're going to be there. I think there's going to be a lot of shakeup though, because apparently there's over 1,000 kids going into the fucking transfer portal. So college football is going to be wild.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be a wild. Like we're basically now we have college free agency now.
Yeah,
with the transfer portal, so this shit's gonna get fucking wild. Like Notre Dame lost their starting quarterback,
which I'm pissed. I mean, I don't blame the kid, but it's not that I'm pissed because he's 1 year left, so he wants to go to a big school to help his draft stock or whatever.
Big school? What is Notre Dame? Notre Dame is a big fucking school.
A bigger school.
A big name is what's that?
Like a bigger school, like Alabama or Georgia. Well,
see, that's the problem, and that's the problem that we have to talk about here right now as Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
Why is it that you're looking at and trying to justify it as saying, "Oh, well, he just wants to go to a bigger school"? How is there bigger schools than Notre Dame? How did this happen? Where Notre Dame has become a fucking second-class school, a second-class football destination. How has that been allowed to happen? Why has that been allowed to happen? And how do you fix it? Because that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and you brought up exactly how to fix it. Is by the NIL deals.
Notre Dame needs to jump in on that.
Yeah.
And they're going to resist it, and they're going to fight it, and they're going to dig their heels in against it, just like they did with all the other academic shit and all the other, fine, whatever. But at some point, you're going to have to realize if you still want to be Notre Dame, if you still want to be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and command the money and the respect and the special dispensations you get from the college football playoffs and shit like that. Like the college football playoffs are managed by all the Division I conferences and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's the only separate school that has as equal power to conferences in the college football playoff pool. If you want to maintain having that special privilege, you have to have a reason for that.
Yeah.
And more increasingly, it's becoming just because of the name, of the golden helmet, and not what's done on the field. And that's a problem. Yes, they went to the college football playoffs twice in the last 5 years. And both times they got fucking smoked.
Yeah.
and players are actively leaving Notre Dame now to go to quote unquote bigger schools, that's a problem. When you say you have to go to other schools for better visibility than Notre Dame, that's a problem.
And I think
it needs
it's,
to be corrected. And I don't know if the current leadership at Notre Dame has the ability to do that. And so what that's going to come down to then is if Notre Dame is losing its speciality of its uniqueness of being the only independent there and being big enough to have this wield the same power as some of the conferences, listen, maybe it's time to join a fucking conference. Maybe it's time. Because here's the thing, the college football landscape is changing. Whether you like it or not, whether anybody agrees with it or not, this is what it is. This is the future. This is the change. It happens. Hate to tell you. Listen, even the Rose Bowl had to fucking get shaken out of their fucking thing. We're still the Rose Bowl. We want this special thing. Well, listen, it's either you do this or we have to wait till 2026 for the fucking playoffs to go to the 12 teams. But then when that happens, guess what? You're not getting any games. The fact of the matter is there should be no bowl games a part of this anyway.
Yeah.
The fact that the Bulls have somehow weaseled their way into still having the semifinals and are going to have the quarterfinals too of this fucking new expanded playoffs is a fucking insane travesty. Have these games at the fucking home campuses of these schools. How amazing would that be?
Oh, God, yeah.
You're talking about, imagine going to the fucking Horseshoe at Ohio State for a home playoff game in the middle of fucking December or early January. Same with or the Big House or fucking, or down in Tuscaloosa in Alabama.
Yeah.
Or in any of these fucking places. Out in L.A. with fucking USC at the Coliseum. How fucking amazing would that be? All these things would be great. But instead, you're not going to get these because it's all going to be like, well, this year it's going to be at the Sugar Bowl. The Sugar Bowl is going to be the quarterfinal, and then you're going to have the semifinal is going to be at the Peach Bowl. And then we're going to, who gives a shit about the fuck? They mean nothing. The bowls mean nothing.
Yeah.
I hate to break this to any college football purist out there, but the bowls haven't meant shit, honestly, since the start of the BCS.
Yeah.
And they still wanted to claim that, and then they certainly haven't meant shit since the start of the college football playoffs. And they certainly mean less than shit now. And they're going to mean less than shit in 2024 when we start the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Bowls are dead. They're useless. They're pointless. I know it's great. The traditions are fun, but the traditions are already broken. Who cares? The Rose Bowl doesn't happen on New Year's every year anymore. Sometimes it happens on the 30th or the 31st, depending on the college football playoff and depending on where it is. So who cares anymore about any of that? Well, once you break a tradition, the tradition's gone. It's done. You know what it is? And that's fine. It is what it is. But grow the game and realize that trying to hold on to this desperate past of the Peach Bowl and the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. Half these things don't happen in the places that they're named after anyway.
Yeah.
They don't play the Cotton Bowl and the Cotton Bowl anymore.
I've said for a couple of years the reason why the bowl games aren't as important or relevant is because there's so many bowls.
No, that has nothing to do with it. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. The bowls are pointless because they have no bearing on anything to do with the college football playoffs. There's nothing. Winning what does winning the Rose Bowl do?
You get a rose.
If you win the Rose Bowl, what happens? You just move on to the national championship game.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl means nothing. It's a means to an end. It's a step. It's not some great thing to win the Rose Bowl anymore. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. That game could happen anywhere. Why the Rose Bowl? Why the Peach Bowl? Why the Cotton Bowl? Why the Fiesta Bowl? Why? So that these people, these bowl committees can make money? Fuck them.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's all. That's what anything
it is.
Yeah.
Is that these guys don't. Here's what it should be. Everybody who doesn't get into the college football playoffs, go play a bowl game. Congratulations, you had a great season. Go ahead, play your bowl games, make some money, do all that kind of stuff. And if people show up and want to watch it, that's fine. Good job. But for the college football playoffs, the shit that matters,
Yeah.
have that shit at the campuses up until the Natty, which, again, you can have the Natty. That's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, you can have that at, again, like this year's going to be SoFi. Have it at Lucas Oil Stadium. Have it up in Minnesota. Have it in, Phoenix and, Vegas and San Francisco and any of these, where you have the big places where you would normally have a Super Bowl anyway.
Yeah.
Go do that. Atlanta, they're getting it next year, I think. So do that. That's it. The only game that's on a neutral site is the national championship game, not some bowl game.
Yeah.
The semifinals don't have, because that's it. Imagine that you're at a semifinal game, and that everybody's talking about how, well, this is dumb because this is now the regular season in college football. That's not going to mean as much. That's not really going to mean anything. Yeah, it is. It's still going to mean a fucking shit ton because the top 2 teams are going to get buys. So you have to have the buys there, or is it top 4 teams? It'll be top 4 teams, I think. Yeah. So the top 4 teams get buys. So you definitely still want to be a top 4 team.
Yeah.
You still want to be a top 4 team. And then if you get rid of this stupid fucking bullshit and you're a higher seeded team, then it does mean something to have a better record. It does mean something to be higher ranked than to have a better record than everybody else. Because that means then you control where the playoffs go through. Imagine that, again, you're like Michigan. The road to the playoffs go through Ann Arbor. You have to go through the big house in the middle of December and January, cold as shit. Imagine having like Alabama or Tennessee have to go up to the big house.
Yeah.
In order to play, like, that's an advantage. That would mean something then. That would mean something. That causes winning those games. That means the regular season still has a meaning, has a purpose. But instead, now you have Michigan playing TCU out in fucking Glendale at the Fiesta Bowl. Why? Why? Why are you making the number 2 team go halfway across the country to play on a neutral site, giving basically TCU an even field here to try to win?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The idea that they're still trying to fucking finger these bowls into everything. Stop fingering the bowls. Get your fingers out of the fucking bowl. No more bowl.
Out of the 4 teams in the playoffs, I mean, obviously Georgia's got to be the biggest, hugest favorite to repeat.
There's
right?
Georgia. There's about 37,000 miles, and then there's the rest of them.
The rest of the field. How big of an upset if one of those 3 teams upset Georgia?
If the field wins over Georgia,
yeah,
that's pretty big.
Would it?
I would say, as a betting man, if you said take Georgia or the field, I'm taking Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, what was it, just about 5 years ago or so, Georgia was like the Atlanta Falcons, always choking the...
They were the team that could make it to an SEC championship game, but would lose to Alabama, or they would lose close, and then they wouldn't even make it. Like a Florida would make it, or somebody like that. Like they were kind of just always on the cusp of making it, and then they finally broke through.
Yeah, and now they're like the new Alabama.
Because that was it. Because they had played the Natty against Alabama, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's when they came out. They were out to a huge lead, and Alabama came all the way back and won in the last second. Or was that overtime? I can't remember if there was an overtime game or not.
I think it was overtime because I remember going to bed real late for that game.
I remember because that game went on real late. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Alabama went, and it's like, man, Georgia's just, they're never going to, they're always there. We're always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And then they finally, they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game, but then beat them in the Natty last year.
Yeah.
So, and then this year they were just, they're a hard team to beat. I don't see, like, I think Michigan's probably the best chance.
Yeah.
At beating them. It's going to be interesting to see how Ohio State does. I wonder if they're going to keep it close or if they're going to get blown out. That's going to be that'll be a game to watch. I think Michigan blows out TCU.
Okay.
I like TCU. I like the story, but I think Michigan blows them out. Watch me eat my words. Don't put this on freezing cold takes. Again, this is just speculation. Entertainment purposes only.
Like we always say with our blue picks, do not take our advice when it comes to picking bets.
But I think it would be an upset if Georgia does not lift the trophy this year. No matter who, if anybody beats them, I think that's
a pretty big upset.
That will be shocking. I think Georgia goes back to back. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Anything can happen. That's why they play the games.
So
we'll see.
Before we do your power rankings and blue picks, let's talk a little bit of prime time here. Deion Sanders.
Yeah, it was good. I loved it.
I'll tell you what, man. Like before he became a head coach for of Jackson State, I think they were named.
Yes.
I didn't like him. I never liked how.
Well, you're an Eagles fan. You were never going to like him anyway.
Well, yeah, but he was too over the top for me. I guess I want to say, but
that's because you're an old white.
Well, hey,
let's face facts. Yeah, I like Deion. He was a personality.
But I learned to like him after watching some of his videos, his team meetings, especially like after the one rapper that died down in Texas. I think they were down in that area playing.
You're going to have to be more specific than that.
It was like TikTok or Tip Top or something like that. I'm not into rap. I don't know rapper names. I just remember the one rapper.
God, you are so white it hurts.
The one rapper died playing a game of dice. I remember that's the story that came out. And he put the team on lockdown, said you guys aren't going out anywhere. If your family, your girlfriends, whatever want to come see you, we will be at the door, but you guys aren't. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's very rare that you could see a college coach give his speech to his team and feel that he's genuinely putting their well-being first. You know what I mean? Like he cares more about them than the actual game, it felt like. And
that's why he does what he does.
Yeah, and that's what made me start to like him. And then seeing just videos after that, and now his latest video, I guess, introduced himself to the team at Colorado, basically telling them, y'all better get in the transfer portal now because I'm bringing people.
You gotta be fast. You gotta be tough. You gotta be smart. And none of y'all motherfuckers are any of those things.
I'm just worried.
1-11, get the fuck out.
And I'm just worried now too, especially after what I sent you of the possible reasons why he left Jackson State. Is
they fucked him.
They fucked him bad.
They fucked him bad. So
they basically made him pay for everything.
True, yeah. If that turns out to be true, there's going to be a lot. But again, that has to be all corroborated and like but if there'll probably be some sort of investigation now. If that's coming out, then there's obviously some information that's going around that's going to get to somebody, and there'll be some kind of investigation. They'll look into that, and so if even a tenth of what you had sent to me or what's getting out there now is true about Deion basically putting up his money for the facilities, for everything like that, the school taking all the money and putting none of it back into the athletics program. Apparently there might have been embezzling going on.
Yeah, they were moving money
around.
The
administration of the school with the athletics money that Deion was basically making for the school. There's going to be that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So if it's true, and again, this is all allegedly. So
yeah, because it wasn't like a blue checkmark Twitter, certified.
Well, anybody
or whatever.
Get a fucking blue check mark.
Yeah, you just got to pay $10 a month. But how do you think he does next year with Colorado? Like record-wise,
especially now in the college world where there's transfer portal and shit like that. 6-6. I think he gets them up to 6-6.
Do you think he?
I think it's that big of a turnaround that they become bowl eligible.
And it's a 5-year deal, and I think I said to you, I'm not sure if it was you or one of my other buddies.
Other associates,
my colleagues. I could see even within 2-3 years being a top 15 ranked team.
Good, it could, and I think they'll pull off an upset or two next year. Like again, they'll be a better team Because here's the thing, he doesn't have to spend 3 or 4 years going through a recruiting cycle trying to build a team now. Like that's the thing about college football now is you don't have to, hire a coach and be like, okay, well, we have to give him at least 6 years to get him, through all these bad recruits and get his recruits in there and see what that. Because now it's just like Dion just said, you guys suck. Hit the fucking portal. I'm bringing some of my guys, and we'll go from there. And then on top of that, too, what recruit isn't like Dion's going to be able to walk into a lot of houses and recruit a lot of kids.
Yeah.
He's got that charisma. He's got that ability. He's got the notoriety. And he's got the reputation now of being somebody who does give a shit about the kids, who does give a shit about doing things for them, making sure that they're taken care of, doing all that kind of stuff. So he's going to be able to pull some talent up there to Boulder, and we'll see. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say like it's going to be 1-11 to 11-1 like Tulane did.
Yeah.
But I think they're a better team next year, and much more quickly than would normally be thought of, simply because of the transfer portal and things like that. So
I'll definitely be tuning into them to see how they do too. So
will you be staying tuned?
Ooh, nice move there. You ready to do your power rankings?
Yeah, sure. Let's just run through these real quick. Well, we should get my power rankings. But I think I said this last time too, 2 weeks ago when I was on the show. We should get these power rankings sponsored. Let's go. Sponsor us, somebody. I don't know.
Let's go with OnlyFans. They could sponsor us.
Dude, that would be actually not big. Considering, listen, everybody else is fucking sponsored by like boner pills and shit.
Yeah.
Like Hims and For Keeps and
Hims
whatever.
and Hers.
Blue Chew and all that other shit. It's like, okay, well, now that you got a boner, how are you going to use it? OnlyFans.com.
Yeah.
Come look at our bevy of girls next door as they take it off all for you, and you can rub it with your For Keeps boner wipe or whatever. We can merge them together. We can be multiple sponsored. You know what I'm saying? We can work this out. See? Marketing genius. Come on, people. Let's go. Anyway.
All right, on to the rankings.
All right, this week's Kings NFL Top 12 Power Rankings for Week 14. You can see this, of course, over on our Twitter. All of our social media is around there at ST Sports Podcast. The video has been posted up there. It does a nice little slow reveal. It's very nice, very well, expertly done, spared no expense. We're going to start at the bottom this week. We talked a little bit about them earlier on the show. Number 12, I actually have the 5-7 Detroit Lions. Why the fuck would you have the 5-7 Detroit Lions?
Admit, I was surprised by that.
Why would you have the Detroit Lions 5-7 in the top 12 of the power rankings? Because these aren't based on records. These are based on the teams. They're based on who would you want to fucking face right now. Who wants to face the Lions? Nobody. The Lions are a dangerous team right now. They're a fucking problem for a lot of teams right now. Don't let that record fool you. A 5-7, going up and playing the Lions is not a cupcake. It's not a walk, and you're probably going to end up losing. The Lions are very much alive in the playoff race. They're a good team. Now that their defense has woken up, now that the defense is playing well for them, they are a team that you have to prepare for and you have to reckon for. I will put them up there at 12. I know there's going to be some absences on this list that some people are going to question me on. Suck my dick, make your own list. I don't care.
We're going to have to make a hashtag for that one. Make your own list.
Make your hashtag suck my dick, hashtag make your own list. At 11, I have the New York Football Giants. They tied against the Washington Commanders, who are at 10. The Giants weren't ranked last week. They are ranked this week. They should have won that game. There were some bad offensive plays called towards the end of the game after Washington had tied it, after some bad referee calls. I just want to point that out there. The refs sucked that entire game. But the Giants had a chance late in the game to have a real late drive, 2-minute drive to get down to field goal position, to get a field goal in regulation. And what do? They do 3 big ball fucking passes, all incomplete, and have to punt it back to Washington with like a minute 40 left anyway, which gave Washington an opportunity to win. which was a dangerous enough thing to do. So, again, a lot of bad decisions by the Giants. They played well enough to win. They didn't, through some very bad coaching mistakes, I think, bad play calling. But that's why I have them up there. Same with Washington. Washington went down a spot, kind of for that reason. They didn't play as well as they had in the last previous weeks. Is that because the Giants are that good, or did the Commanders just not play as well as they did? I'm not sure. That's why neither one of them are really that high or moved up much or moved down much. It's just kind of that's where they are. At number 9, I have the New York Jets. Even with a loss, I have them up 3 spots because they played so well against the Vikings. Their one problem is they could not punch the football into the end zone. They were moving the ball against will against the Vikings up and down that field. They just could not punch it in the end zone. If they were able to score touchdowns on some of those red zone drives they had, they would have won that game by 25 points. The Jets are a good team. Mike White is their quarterback. They have rallied around him. Their defense is very good. I like the Jets. And I see them, I think they're making the playoffs this year. I really do. They're 7-5.
I can see that.
I have them up there. They moved up 3 spots. At 8, down 1 spot, even with the win, is the Minnesota Vikings. They're 10-2, but they're a very unconvincing 10-2. And to be perfectly honest, they should have lost that game to the Jets. And then you add that into the fact that they've lost to the Eagles and they got their brakes beaten off by the Cowboys at home, nonetheless. And again, the Jets almost beat them at home.
Yeah.
You're a 10-2 team. You're still in the position to get the bye and to have the playoffs run through your house. But apparently everybody can run through you at your house. So what's the point? Maybe you're better off going on the road. I don't know, but the Vikings for 10-2, I think there's a lot of teams better than them at 10-2. That's why I have them only at 8. Again, you don't like my list? Suck my dick. Don't care. Make your own.
Make your own list.
At number 7, I have the Dolphins. They're down 4 spots. Everything that was going on in that game, they didn't play a good game. Tua had an off game. I think he got banged up in that game a little bit too.
Yeah.
But that was a game where you could make a statement, especially after Jimmy G got hurt. The only statement was, hey, maybe the Niners can do something. Maybe the Niners aren't that bad. So that's why I have the Dolphins at 7. And at 6, remaining at 6, are the San Francisco 49ers. Why? Well, a lot of reasons. One, I think that was a big win against the Dolphins. But Jimmy G was hurt. So now you're relying on Mr. Irrelevant as your quarterback, Brock Purdy. Can he work out? Can somebody? Yes, but we don't know. And I think that's why they probably left him where they were at 6, is that they won the game. They have all the elements for success. Can Brock Purdy maintain that success for them? We're going to have to see. We're going to see coming up this week. But that's why they're there. 5, also at no change at number 5, is the Philadelphia Eagles at 11-1. Big win against Tennessee. How good is Tennessee, though? I don't know. Listen, the Giants beat Tennessee, so they can't be that good. They're leading the AFC South, but the AFC South is like the NFC South. Both Souths are really terrible this year. So, again, it's another win for the Eagles. They looked absolutely unstoppable. Big game coming up this week, division game against the Giants. Those are always tough. Hopefully the Giants can put up a bit of a fight, but the Eagles right now, 11-1. Best record in the league, but I don't think they're the most powerful team in the league. That's why they're at number 5. What are your comments on this? Because I know you fucking have some.
Okay. No, I thought NC stand for no chance to get respect from King for my team, but
no chance. Please.
I was surprised. I really was surprised you had them at 5. I thought they would be a little bit higher, just because Tennessee is a good team in a shitty division.
Yeah, but I think,
and for what they did, how they blew them out, and basically didn't get stopped at all.
I think when you see the other teams that are above them here, though, I think I have reasons for that. And I think if there are people out there who don't feel like those are good enough reasons, or that these teams aren't good enough to be above the Eagles at this point in the season, using the eyeball test, using like just basically, do you think these teams are better or worse, or this team's better than worse. Then again, that's your own opinion. You can go make your own list, and you can also suck my dick. But that's just what I have. At 5, I have the Eagles there. At 4, up 4 spots, the Cincinnati Bengals. They have found themselves. They are ready to go. They are hitting their groove. They're hitting their stride. Their defense is tremendous. Joe Cool. He's running the show there. You got Jamar Chase is playing well. Mixon was hurt, and they still beat the Chiefs at home. Big win for them. Big win for a lot of teams. I mean, that's kind of shook up a lot in the AFC.
Yeah.
Bengals are showing that they are. I think they are the team in that AFC North. I think you'll notice. I'm going to let you know a secret right now. The Ravens are not in my top 12. Why? Because they've lost to Jacksonville, and they scored 10 points and almost lost to the fucking Broncos.
Exactly.
And you talk of back-to-back weeks where you lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you should lose and almost lose to Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Well, Lamar Jackson got hurt in that game. Well, he wasn't hurt in the Jacksonville game, and they lost that one. And in the first half, where he was still in for the Baltimore Ravens, they had a grand total of 3 goddamn points. So you're going to tell me Lamar Jackson was going to make that much of a goddamn difference?
And just to add on to make that a little bit worse, there was talk of Russell Wilson being benched before the game.
Yes.
So
that's how bad Denver is.
That's how bad, yeah.
Denver and Russell Wilson are atrocious. And the Ravens almost lost. And I got to tell you what, they're going up against the Steelers team now that seems to have found themselves a little bit. TJ Watt's back, ruining games for teams. Don't be surprised if the Steelers win that game. I think the Ravens are not a top 12 team. And if you think they are, again, suck my dick, make your own list, because I don't think they are. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're down 2 because of the loss to the Bengals. Good game. Man, what a fun game that was to watch. That was a great game. Close game. Obviously, I think these two are meeting again in the postseason at some point. I'd put money on that. But again, you take a loss, you take a little bit of a hit there. I think the Chiefs still top 3 team. I obviously they're still a top 3 team. They are a fantastic team, and that's what I mean. Yeah, I still have them above the Bengals. The Bengals did beat them in a close game in Cincinnati. How does that game play out in Kansas City? We'll see. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Joe Burrow is 3-0 the past 3 games against them.
Yes, he is.
So
they are 3-0 against the Chiefs.
He may have their number, so
he might be their little bugaboo.
Yeah.
Which would be something. But right now, that's what I have. Bengals 4, Chiefs 3, number 2. This fucking hurts me to do. This hurts. I hate this. I don't like this. Trust me, I don't like this. I hate this more than anything in the world. I don't like saying this. I don't want to do this. Can I skip over this one?
No, because you're in the closet fan.
Get the fuck you. Fuck you. No. Number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys. They are 9-3. They're playing. They name a team that's playing better than them.
Philly.
They are. I don't know, man.
There's. I'll let you finish your rankings.
That Cowboys team is.
That Cowboys team is only good if the running game is going. If the running game is not going, they're not going to do that well.
Okay, but their running game is always good. So
not against us. And there was a couple times that the 1 or 2 games that they're.
When's the last time the Cowboys played the Eagles? What was that? Week 5?
Yes.
That was Cooper Rush's last game.
And the running game couldn't get going.
And Pollard had yet to really kind of hit a stride there, or they weren't even really using him that much then either. So you're going to talk about.
And honestly, I would still put the Chiefs and Bengals over Dallas.
Not right now. Maybe next week. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. But for right now, the Cowboys are number 2 at 9-3. They're up 2 spots. At number 1, moving up a spot because the Chiefs got moved down 2 because of the loss to the Bengals. And once again, sitting up at the top above everybody else. While they were sitting home on Sunday, they didn't do anything, and they already got up there. Another gift from Cincinnati to Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills at 9-3. They dismantled the Patriots, which isn't that hard to do right now this year.
Yeah.
But they're a wagon. They're a team. And now here's the thing. We just got word today, as we're recording this,
that
Von
that's
Miller
right.
is out for the year. So that's a big blow. How does that affect them going forward?
I don't think it.
How does it affect that defense? It does a lot because that was a big help in late in the game on those third downs. Having Von Miller there, that's a huge difference maker. Now you don't have that. That's.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna have a collapse now because he's out. I think games will be a little bit closer.
Well, they're going up against the Jets this week. The Jets already beat them, and they beat them with Zach Wilson. So now they have Mike White. They're even more dangerous. They're playing in Buffalo, so that is something, but we'll see. I think this is rare to say, but I think the Jets are a pretty good test for Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
To see where they are, considering that they've already lost to them once. And can you imagine if the Jets beat Buffalo again? Again, not only is the division thrown into chaos, but the whole AFC is thrown into chaos. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great matchups this week. You got Jets, Buffalo, you got the Giants and the Eagles. There was a couple other ones there I was looking at.
I mean, even when I was looking looking at our blue picks of what games to pick and everything, when I tried to get to the upset, so many games that are close.
What do we got here? Anyway, there's a lot of good games out there. And hey, listen, we didn't even talk about the fact that Baker Mayfield, we'll talk about that later, but Baker Mayfield might even be starting Thursday Night Football for the Rams.
Yeah.
Because the Rams don't have anybody else.
Listen, the Rams are in such a bad situation. They called me to play quarterback.
They did not. Nobody would do that. That'd be like calling me to play hockey. That's just which
the
Flyers might need. The Flyers might need that. Which listen, I don't like the Flyers, but for an NHL minimum salary, I'll go out there and get my ass kicked for them. That's fine.
I saw something like last week. We had 4 of our starters, $32 million on injured reserve. And it was like half our salary, our team's salary was on injured reserve. I'm like, that is just terrible.
So to close it out here, King's top 12 power rankings in the NFL for week 14. You got the Bills, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, Niners, Dolphins, Vikings, Jets, football team of Redskin Commanders, Giants, and the surprising but deadly and dangerous Detroit Lions.
I mean, I was surprised that you had the Lions up there, but as soon as I saw it, I took a couple of seconds, took a deep breath, and I was like, you know what? I could see it because of how they've been playing. So
They are, and that's what I mean, is like the reason these are power rankings is because they're who's currently powerful in the NFL. It's not about what happened in the first 7 games when they were 1-6. It's about what's happening now. We're talking about now. Everything's happening now is happening now. We've already passed that.
Well,
this is now.
Not according to you, between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles destroyed Tennessee, and they're still 5th.
You're 5th. Yeah, the top 5 out of being in the top 5 out of 32 teams is not bad. Shut the fuck up, you salty bastard.
All right, you ready to do some blue picks?
Yeah, let's do some blue picks. Can I ask you a question though before we start these?
Sure.
Are the blue picks sponsored by anybody?
Why, yes, they are. They are sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash or jitters. Has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. If you head over to their website, dubby.gg, and use the promo code STSports18, all capital letters, you'll get 10% off your final purchase. And real quick, they're hoping the mystery flavor will be coming out within the next 2 weeks. So
there you go.
I'm excited for that.
So this is the time. If you're going to start looking into getting some Dubby, this is the time to do it, because I'm going to tell you what, their flavors are fantastic to begin with, and now you're going to have a mystery flavor. What is this going to be? Is it going to be some kind of tropical thing? Is it going to be something else? Something a little, well, we don't know what it is because it's a mystery. Isn't the mystery is the fun of it, isn't it really? But on top of all of that, what you want W for is for the focus. You want it to give you energy and focus for what you're doing, whether you're playing games, whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're making art, no matter what you're doing, or if you're just staying on a job, you got to go to work. You just need a little pick me up in the middle of the day. W Energy Drink has got you covered. One of the best things about it, according for me anyway, is that again, there's no sugar in W. You're not going to get that crash. You're not going to get the jitters and the shakes that you're after, like you get with a lot of the other energy drinks and stuff like that are just stuffed with sugar and high fructose corn syrup and all that kind of nonsense. You don't have to worry about that with W. No sugar in it. You're going to get the energy, you're going to get the focus, and you're not going to get the crash and the jitters. You can't beat that. And like Jimbo said, you go over there right now, you look around, you might find the mystery flavor that's there, ready for you. Is it there yet? We don't know. It's a mystery. We'll find out. But anyway, you can go to w.gg, look at their entire stock, see what they have there. They even have these cool little mini packs there that let you try out all the flavors so you can find out which one you like before committing to buying a single one, or if you like any of the other ones. Doesn't matter. It's all there for you, waiting there at w.gg. And when you go and finally get all the stuff that you want, on the checkout, in a little promo box, you put in ST Sports 18, all capital letters. You're going to get 10% off of your order. Hey, listen, it's the holiday season. Why not help your family and your friends focus for this holiday, and so they can get you a gift that you actually want by giving them the gift of Dubby?
I hope I get some W for Christmas.
Dude, I'd love to get some of that that Dub sludge for Christmas.
That's what I'm hoping the wife gets me.
That was in my stocking, man. I'm set. Let's go.
Yeah, that one and one of the shakers too. They got.
Oh yeah, the
shakers.
cool. I like the cool little like gamer shakers. Yeah, those things are cool.
And just a little heads up, they have a tree shaker, a shaker with a tree on there.
Like a Christmas tree?
No, just a tree. It's part of a for every one someone buys, they'll plant a tree. Oh, so it's one of those.
Come on! You're talking about W here is out here saving the environment, saving the world, and helping you focus. All you need to do is go there, and you're even getting 10% off with the ST Sports 18 code that you're putting in there. Come on, can't beat it. W.gg, go there right now.
All right, so we're gonna do our blue picks here. Week 14.
Blue picks, baby. Brought to you by W, as we just said.
So you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
Why not? For the blowout, I am going to pick. Okay, yeah, no, this one's easy. I am going to pick the Dallas Cowboys over the Houston Texans. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. The Texans are fucking atrocious. The line on this game.
I was going to say, where are you looking at?
On FanDuel Sportsbook. The line currently is the Cowboys are favored by 16.5.
Oh, it went down.
That's an NFL line. That's an NFL betting line. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure because they're gonna when your line is that high, you're gonna get some money on the other team.
Because before we came on to record, it was at 19.5.
But that right now is the current line, 16.5. Cowboys at home, favored against Texans. I'll take that. They only have to win by 10 for me to win a blowout pick.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do that quite easily. Cowboys over Texans. That's my B pick.
All right. So even though Von Miller is out and we kind of said that it's going to be closer games, I'm actually still sticking with the Bills over the Jets.
That's a ballsy pick for a blowout.
I don't think... I mean, Mike White's going to be the quarterback the rest of the year. I just don't think they'll be able to hang...
You don't think they'll be able to hang? The team that beat them with Zach Wilson isn't going to be able to hang with them?
I'm going to say no.
The team that beat them with a worse quarterback has a better quarterback now.
But that was earlier on.
Be able to hang with them.
That was earlier on in the year.
That was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's early on.
And the Bills don't have Von Miller now.
Yeah. So some of my ballsy picks have come through, like the first week, Pittsburgh over the Bengals.
More balls than brains.
My father tells me that a lot.
All right,
moving on to our lock picks.
Let's move on to the damn lock picks, because that one is... I don't know about that one. If that one happens, if the Bills beat the Jets by more than 10, I will I will not make a ridiculous bet on here because I don't want any evidence.
I was gonna say don't bet running down naked down your street or something and you'll go to jail.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Okay, for a lock pick, I am gonna pick the Kansas City Chiefs. They're gonna be on the road against the Denver Broncos. As we mentioned, the Broncos are shit. They are playing in Denver, but shit at home is still shit. And Kansas City's looking for a get-right game after that Bengals loss. I think this is it for them, obviously. I don't think, the Chiefs are not going to lose to the Broncos. So that is a lock for me. Money line right now is the Chiefs are minus 430. Again, they're favored by 9.5. So again, you're not going to make anything on a money line, but the Chiefs are winning this game. That's my lock. Chiefs over Broncos.
So I don't know why I didn't pick that one or see it, but I am going with Tennessee over Jacksonville. Kind of what you said about Kansas City. I think Tennessee is going to try to get a get-right game.
Yeah,
after what happened on Sunday with Philly. And It just seems like Jacksonville kind of lost that oomph that they had in the beginning of the year that we thought maybe they were a team to be reckoned with. So yeah, I'm going Tennessee over the Jags.
All right. Okay. And then what's next? The upset picks, right?
Yeah, the upset picks.
The U's. So we got the B's and we got the L's. Now we got to get the U's here.
So how do you want to do the upset picks? Because I didn't see anything that was like, according to our rules, 5.5 or higher.
I got one. I got one that's
okay.
I got one that's it. And this one is there's a couple good ones here. The Bengals and Browns. I think that's going to be closer than a lot of people think. Simply because of like everybody's like kind of dismissing Deshaun Watson right now, and the Browns, and understandably so.
Yeah,
but
he didn't have the best game last week.
No, but it's. Do you ever just get a weird feeling about a game?
Yeah,
that it might be something, you know. And there's a couple other games here too that kind of just like, well, maybe I got a little bit of feeling that, but I'm going to do something I always advise people not to do. And I tell people this all the time. I've told you this. I tell anybody who does any kind of betting or does anything like that. You never want to bet with your heart or make decisions based on your heart. Use your brain, not your heart, or like your balls. You know, use your brains, not your balls. No other anatomical part of you should you be making a decision with outside of your brain. But I'm going to make my upset pick using my heart, maybe a little bit of my balls, maybe slight penis in there too. I don't know. But this one is definitely coming from the heart. My upset is I'm going to pick the New York Giants over the Philadelphia Eagles. They are playing at home. It's a desperate situation. The Giants have to beat the Eagles. It's not just because they're the Eagles, but to save, I think, any kind of momentum, trying to get into the playoffs, trying to do anything in that division. Just they need a win. It's been, again, they've got one win in the last 5 weeks. That's not going to get it done. So they're in a corner. I think they're desperate. I think they're good enough to do it.
Yeah.
If they have the right game plan, if they're able to execute it. Again, they're a walking mash unit. A lot of because of that MetLife turf. But yeah, I'm going to do it because the Giants right now, they're 6.5-point underdogs to the Eagles they're at MetLife. They're at the Meadowlands. I will take the Giants over the Eagles.
Okay. This one might be more of a balls pick again. Not as bad as Bills and Jets. I'm going with the Rams over the Raiders. If Baker Mayfield starts, maybe he just clicks automatically. And Raiders have been known to blow big losses, big leads this past year. So it's my thinking in a way. Because no other games really stand out that would be obvious. Or not obvious, but
that would be something, though. Again, if you have Baker Mayfield starting literally 2 days after becoming a Los Angeles Ram,
yeah,
and they beat the Raiders, basically what's going to be a Raiders home game there at SoFi in LA. Listen, the Raiders haven't been any great shakes either this year, but I mean the Rams have been. I mean, I've never seen a fall off from a Super Bowl like this from another team, and like I said, the Broncos were the last team that I can remember that happened to, but they lost so many pieces. Elway was gone. Like they lost a lot of pieces there. The Rams, outside of losing Odell and Von Miller, didn't really lose a lot of their key pieces.
Yeah.
And they have just shit the bed. So that would be interesting. That would be an interesting game, but we'll see. There you go. There's your Stay Tuned Sports Blue Picks, brought to you by W. Go over to W.GG, get anything you want over there, and enter the promo code STSports18, all capital letters. Get yourself 10% off on your next purchase.
All right, so I think that's going to be it for us. The only thing I will say to you guys out there, guys and gals, Sunday.
Do we have women who listen to us?
Hey, you never know. You know, maybe they like the deep, voice of you and the dumbass speech of me. You know,
I do have quite the sultry tone. I have a little ASMR here for you, ladies. How you doing? Yeah, this is Stay Tuned Sports with Jimbo and King. Hi, how you doing? Okay, enough of that.
I was going to say.
Yes, anyway, your message to the guys and gals listening.
Probably some of them sit on speakers. So yeah, make sure you watch Sunday over on our Twitter account, ST Sports Podcast. Pretty sure you're going to see me and King making comments towards each other for the Eagles Giants game. King James belt is on the line.
Fuck you.
And
the belt is coming back home. It's going to happen.
It's coming back home, but it never left your home because you never mailed it to me.
I meant in spirit because you have it technically. It may physically be here, but
I have the OG
I haven't
one.
touched it. It's been in the other room, untouched, unlooked at, because it's yours technically right now. But yeah, it's gotta come back. It's something. We started that belt in 2014.
Yep.
And we decided based on season series. It's based on who wins the season series, and if it's like tied, like if each team splits the series, the season series games, it goes by total points scored, and then we does tiebreakers for it and everything like that. And there's only 2 times the Giants have won in the 8 years of this fucking belt, and both times were on years where it had to be split and it came down to points.
Yeah.
Because the Giants haven't won 2 games against the Eagles in a season since fucking, I don't know, before the housing crisis, in fucking 2008. It's been so goddamn long. So it's been frustrating, this fucking belt. So I'm hoping that get some good fortune and that belt gets to be back on my shoulder. If the Giants do win, you definitely want to go check out all the Stay Tuned Sports social media, because there will be endless pictures of me with the belt, just random pictures, standing outside with it, having a beer with it. I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna be, that belt is gonna be everywhere.
Maybe you'll have some Jaeger. Oh, Jaeger should sponsor your power rankings.
Jaeger should sponsor the top 12.
There
Absolutely.
you go.
I don't have any Jaeger. That's unfortunate. But listen, if Jaeger wants to sponsor, we could do that. I could share my recipe for Jaeger and Dew. Let's go.
So
make it happen.
So till next week, this is your good friend Jimbo.
And it's King. Wishing he had Jaeger now. Thanks a lot.
See you.